Our next event involves Karen Bayliss from Jawun. Are you here, Karen? Now, Karen is responsible for Jawun and expanding it across the country, but I just want to say a few things about the magnificent work done by this group in Cape York. I'll leave it to Karen, to talk about Jawun, but I just want to tell you the story about how it got started in Cape York. I'm not sure how Noel Pearson, the chair of back then of Cape York Partnerships and the Cape York Institute for Policy and Leadership, met Anne Cherry, who was then the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Westpac. But somehow they met and they hit it off, and at some point she asked him, "What do you need?" And he explained that we need professional people to come and help us develop our program. So he was developing business hubs, family income management scheme, Cape York Digital, and amongst, say, for instance, the family income management scheme, savings accounts for families to save up for their children's education so that money could be matched by philanthropic or other funds. And as you probably know, through the Higher Expectations program from the Cape York Institute, there are scores of kids from Cape York in very good boarding schools and in university. And it's the highest hit rate from a disadvantaged remote area for getting kids into boarding school and into universities. Nobody else does it like the Cape York Institute does. And I'm not going to say it was because I was chair for 5 years. It's actually, no, true. It's because the model works. So you take a bunch of kids from the families who are saving the money for their kids' education and showing a commitment under the Family Income Management Scheme, and you've got to have the cooperation of the family, because the family are the ones who say, "Yep, you can take my kid to boarding school." You match them up with the right boarding school. You have, our Aboriginal inspectors who are just, really nice young people looking at the boarding schools and asking them a series of questions. If they pass the test, they're on the boarding school list. Philanthropic and corporate sponsorship funded those scholarships. And, also now, in addition to finishing school and getting into university, some of those kids are on the board of the Leadership Academy, the Cape York Leadership Academy, and the young people have transitioned from that program into leadership positions. They're the new leadership, and we can flick the problems to them. But it was this conversation between Noel and Anne that started it off. She said, "Okay, I will send you our staff and I'll set it up so that doing a stint in Cape York, helping people solve problems, banking, business modelling and so on, that can be their professional development under Westpac's staff conditions program. They do a stint with you, and when they come back they get a tick for passing on, being helicoptered into the war zone basically." And a lot of those people really stuck it out in the toughest conditions in the country. I don't know how many of you have been to Cape York, but back when this started it was tough. And there was grog running, violence, and these terribly sweet people from Westpac branches put their hands up to volunteer in these areas and help the locals get all this really basic stuff right. So what was Jawun called back then? Indigenous Enterprise Partnerships, IEP. And Anne went around and got corporate friends to help her out so that they too would send in their staff as secondees. And that program grew, and they changed their name a little while back, but I'll let Karen talk about that. But I just want to commend to you this idea of the corporate Aboriginal partnership and the way that we, can really advance ourselves out of these conditions of poverty and disadvantage very quickly if we have the right advice. And even better than you know, contracted, very expensive, you know, top shelf advice, in my opinion, is this kind of semi-philanthropic, let's call it social enterprise arrangement, where we get the best people out of a company, recommended and tested by the company. I mean, they don't just, you know, put their hands up and come. The company has its own processes, and they serve in our communities and go back to their company, and it's a part of their professional development. It's really served Cape York community so well, so I can't speak highly enough of it, and I'm very pleased to introduce Karen Bayliss of Jawun.
Well, Marcia asked me to explain the model because she wasn't sure that she could do it adequately. I have to say she was absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Marcia. But can I acknowledge and pay my respects to the traditional owners of the land and to the elders past and present. I'm not going to speak a lot, but other than today is a terrific day for us. We're about to sign an MOU with Gumash Corporation and the Yothi Yindi Foundation. And as of the 22nd of October, secondees will be coming to this region, which is terrific. We have been around for 12 years, and for those that aren't aware, sometimes Jawun gets confused with the Catherine mob. But Jawun is actually a Kukuyalanji word meaning friends or making of friends. And 3 years ago, we were invited by the elders out of Mosman Gorge to use that word, and we'd been there for 9 years, which is quite an incredible partnership over time. Our core focus, and I think Marcia has explained this very well, but it is about capacity and capability build. It's about taking some of the best people in organisations and placing them in community, and importantly, they are working on the projects that are identified by our Indigenous leaders and our Indigenous communities. We do not have a say in that scenario. We are guided by the Indigenous leadership. Really, I was listening yesterday to this issue about disadvantage and the opportunities that are available in some of the regions. And you'd have to say, part of this program's benefit, I think, is helping to build that competency that can take advantage of these opportunities we're seeing, but also tackle the disadvantage that is in the regions that we're talking about. We do have a specific, I suppose, guiding light, and that is that we focus on Indigenous regions that have Indigenous leaders who are driving economic, social and welfare reform change. And we don't step away from that. We're looking for that responsibility. The model relies on 3 key factors, and I have to say to you that, you know, Jawun is just an enabler. You know, the success stories, the reasons this work is because of our Indigenous partners and our corporate partners, which really are, their secondees are the lifeblood of this. We're looking for Indigenous partners who are open to welcoming corporate Australia to live and work in their community. We're looking for Indigenous leaders who are prepared to tackle disadvantage and are driving agendas to improve the lives of their people. And we're looking for corporate partners who are prepared to commit with us for at least 5 years. And you might look at this and say, does that happen? BCG and Westpac have been with us for 12 years, KPMG 6 years, and a number of our other partners 3 years with the ongoing commitment. So they see this as a long-term commitment. And if we don't find that sort of values in our corporate partner, then we agree that probably it's not the best fit program for you. These secondees, as we talk about, the talent from in corporates, they are placed in community for anything up to 5 weeks or a year. The majority are 5-week secondments. And at the moment, we're placing around 250 secondees a year. We have them in Cape York, Goulburn Murray, Central Coast of New South Wales, Redfern La Perouse, and the East Kimberley. And I'm delighted to say that we started this month in the West Kimberley, and it's terrific to have Frank Davies, Anthony Watson and Wayne Bergman, who are actually 3 of the critical leaders that we have and have been guided by in the West Kimberley. Some of you might say, why haven't we heard of you before? It is absolutely deliberate. We do try to fly under the radar and work quietly behind the scenes because we're not the voice of the Indigenous organisations, they're their own voice, but we're helping them to actually address the issues that they were looking for. I'd like to, at this point, actually ask 3 of our corporate partners to join us, and they are Craig Laslett from Leighton's, Jason Schonghagen from CBA, and Glenn Brennan from NAB. And could I also ask Eula Rowan, our Regional Director, who's based here, to join us as well. Can I just quickly touch on Arnhem Land before I think we ceremoniously sign the MOU? As I said earlier, this is really quite exciting for us. This discussion went back as far back as 2008, when Galarrwuy and Noel started talking about the work that was going on in the Cape. And they had a number of visits across time, and it was actually identified around about 12 months ago that maybe the timing was right for this sort of support to come into North East Arnhem Land. We are, in a couple of weeks' time, we'll have a number of corporates joining us for 3 or 4 days, and they are CBA, KPMG, Qantas, Leighton's, BHP, Telstra, BCG, and the Commonwealth Government. They have also joined us as partners this year in the program. So it's a pretty impressive group who are looking to be founding partners in the region. So with that, I would just like to say it's a terrific honour, and maybe after we sign the MOU, I might ask for some of our corporate partners to say a few words. And one other thing, before we sign the MOU, should I do that? Or? I think so. Yeah. So, as you know, our patron is Noel Pearson, and he is unable to be here due to ill health, but he has sent from his hometown of Hopevale a painting for Galarrwuy and the leaders here that he would like them to accept on behalf of himself as the patron of Jawun. It is by the artist Shane Gibson, and it represents the corroboree, Yumbala, and it's just a terrific piece of work. So on behalf of Noel,
thanks, Jawun. Thanks for that painting. And now I'd like to give back from us, me and my brother and Jualpi, for Noel Pearson with big help with us. So I'd like to give this to Noel Pearson, Karen, and hope you give it to him in person.
I will.
Thank you.
Does it work? Yeah. It works. It works. It works. It works.
So one more. No, that's okay. Keep going. They'd much rather listen to you than me. Could I ask Denise and Klaus to come up as well, please? And as I do, both of you up on the floor. As I do, Glenn, can I just ask you very briefly just to share from a NAB perspective why you're part of this program?
And thanks everyone, and it is a fantastic program, Jawun. It's this is sort of my 8th or 9th Garma, and one of the things that used to happen is that corporates sort of come up here with a view as this is how we could engage with Indigenous Australia. And to be fair, you know, the growth of sort of the agenda is that it remains so Garma's still a very special event. But the thing I think that Jawun's got is that when we go back, we're able to capture a lot of people that are that work in corporate Australia that want to make a difference for Indigenous Australia, and they really want to know what they can do. And Jawun provides a mechanism for us to get our staff out. And the truth is that our staff learn a lot more about Indigenous Australia as opposed to imparting knowledge to Indigenous Australia. It's not sort of all one way. I think our people sort of end up coming back being better people and being more informed about Indigenous Australia. And in many ways, I think Jawun's helping sort of recruit a coalition of the willing, for want of a better words. But it really is a fantastic program that allows people to develop their skills, to learn more about Indigenous Australia, but also make a meaningful impact. And I think that's the thing that we've all heard over the last little bit is that people want real outcomes, and I think corporate Australia can play. So thanks very much to Jawun. It's a fantastic program, and if there's any corporates here that aren't part of it, sign up quick, because I think their dance card's getting pretty full. So, all right.
So we just thought, in the spirit of new friends, we should thank a couple of people who have been critical to this event. And the first is Denise Bowden from the Yothu Yindi Foundation. And on behalf of Jawun, we'd like you, one, to accept this prestigious Jawun shirt, but also, when we changed our name 3 years ago, we commissioned 2 artists out of Mosman Gorge, Ivy Minicon and Cassandra Cairns, to actually create our logo. And our logo represents Meeting Place, and we'd like to present a very special painting to you, which we hope you will hang with pride. And the second person, who is definitely very quietly behind the scenes, but that is Klaus Helms. And Craig, could I ask you if... Klaus has just been instrumental in helping us navigate through this new region, and we can't thank him enough. He's also looking after Eula very well, I believe. Klaus, thank you very much. And again, a shirt and a painting. So, Jason or Craig, did you want to add anything? Yep.
Thanks, Karen. I just wanted to endorse everything else that's been said about Jawun. It's certainly a great relationship building between corporate Australia and Indigenous communities, and certainly our people just put their hand up and just love to be involved in the Jawun secondees, and the relationships that are built, I think, are long-lasting, and you know, very much in the theme of the discussions today, is that they have led to not only interchange of obviously the relationships and learnings, but what we're finding is they are now starting to roll out into real jobs and to real entrepreneurial relationships in the communities in which we're operating. So really good stuff. So thank you everybody. Thanks for the hospitality. Thank you, Jawun.
So I'll try and be pretty quick, but on behalf of the Commonwealth Bank, we just want to thank the community here for letting us have some of our staff come in October. I think we've got 2 coming up. I think we had a number of people lining up because they want to share the experience here and understand the culture and what the Northern Territory has to offer. I know myself, I've been up here a couple of times now. We take some tours out to Bowika, and that's an experience that a lot of our staff get to undertake. It gives them opportunity to really immerse themselves in the culture up here. And the 2 individuals that are coming up, I'm sure will do a wonderful job, and I think they're looking forward to staying out at Ski Beach. So please make them feel welcome, anyone that's around. So on behalf of Commonwealth Bank, yeah, we're looking forward to the next couple of months up here. So thank you.